Hi there! Thanks for clicking on this video. I suppose you're pretty curious because this is a video about death. Well, why would a holistic healer do a video about death? Well, death is the guarantee for all of us, like we all are being born. We are all guaranteed to die one day, well, the physical body. And I thought that because this weekend it's Halloween, it is like the Swiss say Allerheiligen. Halloween is the 31st of October, Allerheiligen is the 1st of November. And it's more about honoring the death. The American Halloween, I'm not so sure about. I'm Dutch, I live in Switzerland, but I do know it is appropriate to do a video about death, about how to grieve, how to mourn, how to release unprocessed death issues you held on in life. So this is a guided healing session. And for those who watch regularly, I will work with my usual tools, and there will be a new tool created, and that's a really cool one. I'm gonna show you. And though it is a Dutch book, it is also written in English and it's really a cool book. It is from Els van Stijn and she does systemic work. And what she created is a metaphor for her work. And like I like to work with the family tree, she likes to work with a family fountain. And she says everyone in the family line has their appropriate place. You are the child, you are the mother or father. And for that you have an appropriate place to stand in. And while reading the book, you know, I'm halfway, so I haven't read everything. Having a metaphysical consciousness, I've been observing over and over again what the influences are when I'm not standing there where I'm supposed to be on a systemic level. And having my angels of the higher laws, angels of higher magic and other healing agencies, and of course my higher self, they help me to, and they assist me to stand in my appropriate place on a family level. This can also be done on a business level. So you can imagine how interesting I find this topic, because it really shifts stuff. I've been playing with this systemic work for businesses twice till now. And for me, it really has effects. They were not my businesses, by the way, but the effects are interesting. So we are going to create that tool because, for example, on a systemic level, if someone died or had a miscarriage and those deaths are not processed well because there's still grieving left or they are being denied, it influences the system. And from experience, I know when you have unprocessed death issues in past lives in the incarnational string, it influences your current life. So for me it's just another ad, so we are going to work with the regular tools. If you're in for this, keep watching, keep observing within yourself, because the way this is set up is being done for you. It's like a free healing. Why do I offer this? I have this life goal. And they told me already in 1999 that one of my life goals is to guide mankind through a quantum leap. That can be done in several ways. That can be done by publishing books, by offering seminars, and for example, offering these YouTube videos for those who are not able to buy books or attend seminars because they cannot fly to Switzerland for whatever reason, and that's fine. Doing this, I have a lot of support. I work with a lot of angels. I work with healing agencies. For me, how shall I put it? For me, it's really important that you understand that both light and darkness have functionalities. Darkness is here to destruct, demolish, so light can create and build again. So it's not negative, it's not positive, it's not evil, it's not good, it's function. Everything has their function. And of course you can have biases, and that's fine. Life is not only this life, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are also humans having a spiritual experience. As a soul, you incarnate over and over and over again. And you do this aligned with the life lessons you want to process, you want to integrate them. And for this you go over and over again into the same religion, or then you switch to another religion in another life. Then you switch to certain family lines because they offer you the required life lessons you want to process. While doing that, there are so many events you have to process, and sometimes it's too much. And what do? When it's too much, you push it down, you cover up the emotions as if they were not there. You have your primary emotions covering up by secondary emotions. And of course, the secondary emotions can be covered up with other emotions. I'm not going into that too deep. That would be more for seminars or not for a YouTube video. But it is important that you understand, for example, if you have anger issues. The question is, do you realize that these anger issues and your being upset is covering up another emotion? So it's not the anger which is the issue, it is the emotion below which for you cannot be touched because it's too painful. What if I told you there are ways on a metaphysical level to process these emotions without having to go through them completely and fully while being taken over by the emotion? But just more like on a distance, that you can be in a neutral state processing these emotions. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you some stories before we dive into this. And I'm at the moment 47 years old. I live in Switzerland. Moving around has been my hobby, so to say. I always said I keep on moving till I arrived home. Well, where I am right now comes pretty close. Depending on my future events and my future processes, I will either remain here for many years, or I will move on within a few years to a next house, which is home. I've experienced moving for the first time when I was 5 years old. My parents divorced when I was 13. My mom met another man within 6 months. They moved in together really quickly, so did we. And so I got a stepdad. That's why it's good to do this video. I adored my stepdad. He had a farm, and he gave us all kinds of animals to take care of, just to, I don't know, to make us happy. And my stepdad always said, you're allowed to do anything you want. There are two things you're not allowed to. One is, well, living in Holland, you have to understand, you are not allowed to cycle on your bike without hands on the steering wheel. The other thing was, don't set our house on fire. Well, not setting the house on fire is pretty reasonable, I think. The reason we were not allowed to be on a bicycle without hands on the steering wheel is because his own daughter, his only daughter, next to his four boys, died when she was 12 years old, driving on the bike with her hands not being on the steering wheel. She was almost home, and then a drunk driver fetched her, and she was dead on the instant. My stepdad was an excellent example how life can turn out when you deny the importance of grieving and processing your own child's death. We moved, I think I was 17. I just went to the hotel school in the Netherlands. And during the first holiday, fall holiday, my stepdad died of a heart attack. And it was really strange, you know, because me and my sister, we were working somewhere in a hotel. I came home, I went through the gates, and I was thinking while I was going through the living room, Berend is dead. I called my stepdad Berend, is his first name. I just went to bed, and the next morning I was being woken up by my mom, and indeed my stepdad had died. I always said, exactly like the doctor of the police, that he died of a heart attack. My mom said, no, that's not true. He was really depressed and he committed suicide. So you can imagine I had about 20 years of struggling within me, being certain that my stepdad did not commit suicide. But on the other hand, my mom and my sister were convinced, yes, he did. So that was quite a struggle. And that is difficult. You want to please the mother and the sister by not offending them that they are not right. But I also wanted to offend my stepdad, because dying of natural cause or dying as a suicide, to me that's quite different. Well, anyways, that was when I was 17. When I was 18, I had a friend, and I was not good in making friends because I was still grieving. And you know, when you're 17 and you're grieving, you don't care about how cute the hair of that guy is. That's what the girls in my class only talked about. So I had no really connection to friends, and that was not so nice. So one of the friends I did make was this 15-year-old boy. He worked with a friend of mine at a garage. And he told me one day a really strange story. I was really like, why are you telling me this? Freaked. What he told was like he had a memory of how to commit suicide. It was a Japanese way of committing suicide, as I understood. That was placing a knife in your belly and then swipe it up. I thought it was pretty freaky. Why would he tell me this? I don't know. I didn't know. Then, not so long after, he appeared at my doorsteps one evening. He was upset. He didn't want to go home anymore. And after a few hours, I sent him home. Because, you know, he's 15 years old. He had to go home to his parents. It was my opinion. I had to really push him out, shuffle him out. He didn't want to go home, but I thought it would be normal to do that. Be the decent thing to do. And the next morning I found out that he slipped out that night from his parents' bedroom. And he committed suicide. By train. By laying down on the railway. And you can imagine that this event influenced my life. Influencing feeling guilty, and again a real suicide event in my life. Later on I had friends also calling me in the middle of the night. He wanted to commit suicide. I went over, he didn't. That was like a loose false alarm. And as far as I know, that guy is still alive. Lives now in England, I think. And as time went by, I was 21 when one day my sister would go away, move to an island of the Netherlands. She was opening up her business as a beautician. I don't know how to call it. And I was at their home. She lived with my brother. I think my brother has also mentioned her in his YouTube videos. And it was January 1969, and she was planning out for a weekend away with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was a really sweet guy. He was going to start also with a new job as a truck driver. He was really looking forward doing that. And I waited up. They were doing shopping for a couch. I think it's just wanting to spend time together, of course. But I waited at their place, and normally I walked home because it was only 15 minutes walk, but I stayed. And I waited and waited till she got home, so I could ask her, can you drive me home, please? She was a little bit annoyed because she wanted to go to bed. It was not going as she planned. And when I was home, I asked her, Annemiek, can you please not go? Because I had images flashing for my eyes, because the next day it would be really freezing. And I had images that she would drive into the canal. And well, the canal was not frozen, so she would drown. That was the fear I had. But there was such a energy going out of her. No, I'm going. So I let her go, of course. That's what you do. And 2 days later, I got a phone call of my mother that it's okay that I cry, don't I? Yeah. That they both died in a truck accident. And yeah, life continues then, without a sister, without a stepdad. And my mom always encouraged me to do one thing. Helen, you live now, do that what you really want to do in life. Go there where you want to be in life. So that's why I ended up in Switzerland quite sometimes. And I did that. Then I got pregnant of my son. For his birth I went back to the Netherlands because his dad lived in the Netherlands. With his dad I also caught my second miscarriage. She is someone, she shows up once in a while for my son, like a sister. It's really sweet, so that's a good experience with her. And well, all with all, I had quite some miscarriages. And if we get back to the fountain, I have this cup below me where my children are in. And if I deny one of them, my only living son will take over, or his children will take over some issues which are hers. So that's not wise to do. And that's why I decided to do this video. It's pretty personal, but I do know there are so many more out there having to deal with miscarriage, having to deal with the loss of a brother or a sister, having to deal with the loss of parents, having to deal with death. It's universal. So, I told you my stories. I have some more. Those are the more fun ones. Do I say fun ones? Yeah, I do say fun ones. I have one experience of a friend of mine dying. And I lived in Switzerland at the moment. He was in the Netherlands. He was also a pretty spiritual guy. He brought me into the world of crystals, just a detail. He had like 10,000 crystals in his backyard, in his barn. And this guy, I went once a month to the Netherlands to do a healing, or a healing evening. In one of those weeks, I also visited him. I was there, it was almost his birthday, but he wasn't at home. And then a voice told me, Helen, I want you to take the wing. He had an owl wing, so too much. And I said, no, I'm not taking that. Then I went to his barn to observe the crystals. I always enjoyed that. And then again, a voice told me, Helen, I want you to take that crystal. I want you to take that crystal, that one and that one. And I was really fun. Are you kidding me? I cannot steal from a friend. I'm not doing that. Helen, I want you to take the crystals. I refused. I didn't do that. And 5 weeks later, I got a call of my dad. I was working in a restaurant. I was doing the dishes. I was working with the dishwasher. And I think just a few hours before, or even days before, my friend kept showing up telling he died. And I denied it. I said, no, you're not dead. You're still alive. Don't be such a fool. Don't tell me that. And of course, my dad called me and my dad asked me, Helen, is it correct that you are friends with Ben Heringa? I said, yes. Oh, Helen, I have to tell you that he died 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that happens. So since then I really never encountered a friend to share my love for crystals anymore. It's okay. Someone will turn up in the future, but it was rough because this was the only friend I could share spirituality in those times with. And on the other hand, Ben gave me the most wonderful experience during all my life. He explained a lot about death and stuff. Like, for example, he explained to me that he was the one telling me to take the crystals, but because at that moment he was not dead yet, he was not allowed to disclose himself, which is comprehensible. I also had experience of driving in my car to friends, and I had the most nicest conversations with him. He was still being a friend. I think it's a few months ago for the last time I spoke to him, and then I was really like from, Ben, how is this even possible? You're already dead since 2005. You feel really vivid and really not so long dead, so to say. I said, yeah, that's correct, Helen. I'm only dead for 3 years. But I learned how to get in touch with you by asking for certain events in your life, and then I can talk to you telepathically. Aha! Well, that's cool. From experience, I do know and I do realize that when someone dies, there are so many levels of awareness. And I tell you, not everyone is able to be like my friend Ben. Well, this was a lot of talking, wasn't it? Yeah. But, I need to do my nose. So, so many stories about death, and there's so much more. Today we are going to focus on the stories I mentioned earlier. I want you to connect with your own stories. Your stories of death. Your stories of how have you dealt with your miscarriage? How have you dealt with the loss of a parent? How have you dealt with the loss of a sibling? How have you dealt with the death of a neighbor? Well, I noticed the angels are now entering the space. It is a pleasure to create a new healing tool live on camera. The angels of the higher laws and my spiritual support team created already a protective healing space, and what you have to know is that I am in a protective magic circle with a magic shield on the outside so that we are protected and confidential. Besides that, the angels always create healing spaces for the viewers, and sometimes they create more than one healing space, and that is, for example, if you are someone who only had a miscarriage and still have your dad, siblings and your neighbors never dealt with death before, you are in that healing space. If you are someone like me, or you are someone who has even encountered way much more death, you will be in another healing space. They do that so that those who have suffered a lot will get a different care on a metaphysical level than those who have suffered in their way with not so much events of death. And it doesn't mean that those who suffered a lot by death have it much worse in life than those who haven't suffered a lot by death in life. Because someone who lost a child can be mourning or pushing away the mourning and the grief for all of his life and be suffering tremendous by this. So it's not judgment. It's just what have you experienced in life. Depending on that, you will be in your own healing circle. If you are at home or somewhere else, it doesn't matter where you are, you will be in a protective healing space. So whatever happens during this healing is protected and confidential. I want you to call in your spiritual support team. And for those who do not know who their spiritual support team are, then trust yourself that you can call in your holy guardian angel and your head guide. And I see on the background that some viewers are receiving a step-up ritual of their guides, because it can occur that during many lifetimes where you abused drugs and alcohol, that you picked up some rubbish on the way, meaning guides who pretend to be your guides in a good way but are misleading you. Those are being exchanged for appropriate guides at the moment. So we will give that some time. And we're going to do a quick color grounding healing to cleanse out any uplighted pictures due to the stories you've just listened to. And also matching pictures will be cleared. And a color grounding healing, you can see like your personal space is being connected to the center of the planet. And there is this grounding cord or ray, whatever you prefer, is being created. Let's invite ourselves as spirit into our etheric body. So we embody our body with our spirit. Because once you embody your own body, other stuff which is not you has to leave. This grounding cord, this grounding ray, will change colors, and just know that each thought, each emotion resonate with certain colors. So the color red has a whole range of emotions and thoughts. It can be from anger to passion to love to sexual energies. And it will all be covered, and no matter what the emotion is, all shades of red will cleanse out excessive energies. Energies which is no longer necessary to carry within you in your personal space. It will be processed through the center of the planet. You can imagine that your aura is one arm length around you, and you have like a boundary there. If you are the one in some way watching these videos, your boundary will be a little bit more close. That's fine. Make sure you're well protected. For those who are in the subway and watching these videos, the angels also create a magic shield on the inside of the circle, so that you do not bother others with your process. And let's commence with the color red. And if you space out, don't worry, I will also have placed here within the video the color we are in at the moment. Sometimes it's okay to be spaced out, because then you let go of a lot of stuff. You shed off all the rubbish, but preferably you sit up straight and you are aware of what is happening. You can imagine everything around you is soaked with all shades of red. Stuff is leaving your space, your organs, your chakras. And let's shift to the color orange. We'll just mention the colors. Yellow, green, blue. And be aware that whatever time you need for a color, your higher self will take the appropriate amount of time for the color to cleanse yourself. Even if I am with the color blue, it might be that you're still with color red, and that's fine, that's okay. You might want to hit the pause button till you feel you can continue to another color. I am used to this. I'm doing this already for 14 years. So for me, I move pretty quickly through the colors. Purple, violet, pink, opalescent, white, gray, black, brown, silver, bronze, copper, gold, let's request the angels to continuously during the entire healing allow the flow of tetragrammaton. That's 4 polar. And the benefits of tetragrammaton is that the moment it hits your personal space, it instantly adapts to your frequency, to your soul, to your personality, to your, to you as higher self, to you as self, as subconscious self, and it will be you. So that's the benefit. And now we're going to ask the Angels of High Magic to create for me and for all the viewers who are able to receive this spiritual tool and to work with it. Let's create the family fountain. So we can also now work on the systemic level. And that's my way of working. It doesn't come from any other source, it's just when I read something and I like it. Angels then use my metaphysical consciousness and awareness to create the tool metaphysically. And I'm pretty sure Els van Stein has no idea how this metaphysical aspect works. That's at least what she always says in interviews. But I do know that her higher self really knows how it functions. So, can I say it's my tool? No, it's not. Can we say it's the tool of Els van Stein? In a way we can, but even that, on a spiritual level, what is ownership? Well, ownership is for another video, not for now. We just create these tools now. And during the healing, we will spend some attention to that tool to make you step into the place of the fountain you belong. And it's really interesting because I wanted to create the tool for the upcoming video, how to clear and transform pain, shock and trauma on the sense of balance. Because to me balance has also a lot to do with the family tool, the family fountain. To be in balance, you have to be on the right spot. But me and my spiritual support team chose this topic to create it. And there has been quite some preparation work by all the angels and your holy guardian angels. So the tool is almost finished. And there's a prep work occurring in a high magic temple in the highest astral plane, especially created for these type of videos. So you can imagine that in the highest astral plane I will have it created around me. So I don't have to go there, but it's being created around me. And we are all together, no matter if you watch this video this weekend or you watch this video in 10 years, it's all the same. We are part of a group unity. At that moment we watch the video and we all as higher self appear in that high magic temple, which is now being surrounded. Those who are highly psychic, they will be able to see how many viewers are there. It's like we are in an arena, or like a football arena with thousands and thousands of people, each in their own seat. And the work will be done for all of us. And it's like the tools are in the center and each tool will work individually but also collectively. That's pretty interesting. Because this brings me back to how the way I work with businesses, but you can also do this with spiritual groups or a group for the moment or for a longer period of time. But for now it's only for the moment. And the angels are bringing in other healing agencies, other angels. I'm going to name them as they enter our arena. They all will be within an evocation triangle. That evocation triangle will be filled with the sphere of where their home is. And it will be a protective space, so their energy will not disrupt our energy. That's why we also have each of us a concentric circle around our aura. So we do not merge, we do not melt, we do not disrupt each other's energies. We are within our own personal space. First, the whole arena is being connected with divine providence. Divine providence is a, let's say, level of consciousness. You just have to feel. I'm not going to say more about it. Divine providence is divine providence. That's it. It's an incoming energy and does things for us. Then our holy guardian angels show up for all of us. Our head guides show up for all of us. They are also being present during this healing. Then in the center, let's say we all sit here. We're all sitting there. We're filled. And we have a lot of space, a lot of chairs to sit in. And it's really amusing that some people see that we are sitting with only 20 people. I see quite some more, but I also see cross time, so that's easy. What is being called in are the angels of forgiveness. The angels of forgiveness will provide mutual forgiveness for whatever, what happened between parties. In another evocation triangle, a high lot of karma is entering. He brings in 9 more triangles with lots of karma in it. They will oversee for all of us the karma being completed, which we had with those who are deceased already, but whom we could not let go yet. The ladies of Dharma are entering the space, providing viewers who are stuck in a grief process. They are providing, that's interesting. They provide, because this is not your first lifetime, as you realize. They provide the information you've gathered in previous lifetimes, how to deal with grief, how to deal with loss, and coming from your own soul, from your own previous incarnations, that information where you already learned how to do it is being infused into your current consciousness. Then in the center there is a evocation triangle being created, a double, because there are 2 entities coming. I've been introduced to her, I think in 2014, when I suffered my last miscarriage. I really loved working with her, I'm sure you will too. She's the sweetest. Well, they both are. The she I'm talking about is the blue angel of death. That's a female angel of death. She's quite pleasant, she's quite nice. This is the only angel of death I can work with publicly. Never call in another angel of death, don't do that, that's not amusing. That's a no-go. But this one always comes with her care, healing agency, and that is a light being, and that is so cool, you know, because when the blue angel of death extracts out that energy out of your personal space, there's this other light being who infuses instantly light, like tetragrammaton, which becomes instantly you. So there is no entrance for whatever being ever to connect with you in this loose or this empty space of the dead energy just being extracted. Well, it's like changing oil in the engine. You let go out of the old oil and you put in new one, otherwise the car does not drive. That's the way you do it. And you can compare the lords of karma with the schakelbak. With oil in the well, whatever. I don't know the name in English at the moment. Schakelbak, vloeistof. Anyways. And what I noticed, there are angelic choirs surrounding the arena. And the angelic choirs like to sing to us. So stuff which is vibrating and ready to let go is being let go more easy. So that's pretty nice. So you work with the power of sound. And if there's any viewer who works with those angels as a musician, please put a reaction below and let's get in touch. I really look forward to listening to your angelic tones. I know, for example, that's one of the reasons why I like to listen to Carlos Santana, When you hear Carlos Santana play, I at least, hear a certain type of angel flowing through his music. I really enjoy that. Yeah. So, it seems that for different cultures, death is different. Meaning, the Tibetan Book of Death has other belief systems than, for example, the Bible or the Quran or, well, whatever. There are so many belief systems about death, what happens after death. And I mean, I'm Dutch, I'm from the Netherlands, living in Switzerland, and in the Netherlands you have a few Christian streams who, for example, do not believe in life after death. The Catholic do, but some don't. So, well, they like to confront me and say, well, Helen, that's a lot of rubbish what you tell, and I don't believe this, blah, 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 blah. One day I just told them, well, that will be a bummer when you die. When you die, then you think about me again, and then you realize, oh my God, she was right all the way. That was my way of dealing in those days. Now I don't even say that anymore. People can believe whatever they want. But as long as you really want metaphysical healing, it's important to realize that there's a lot of stuff is going on. There's a lot of cleansing already occurring just by calling in these healing agencies. And we are going to work, because we are really like here in the arena, everyone in their own seat. And let's say, I mean, the wood is perfect. Let's say the incarnational string, your past lives, are being processed here. Your family fountain is being processed here. Your current lifeline and the event space spiral are next to each other here. And this is the family tree. The difference between the family tree and the family fountain is that the fountain flows down and the family tree goes up. So your ancestors are up here and you are here. You are the stem of the tree. The family fountain, depending if you have children or grandchildren, you are here. And here are your children and here are your grandchildren. You are here are your parents, and here are your grandparents, etc., etc., and stuff flows down. If you take over false responsibility for your family, like your mother is not able to grieve in a way about her dead child, you might step up and go into her buck. But that's not your place to be. Your place is to be here. So wherever your place is, the angels and your spiritual support team will make sure that you always will be brought back in the right appropriate place of the family fountain. In the family tree, there's a lot of influence of that, like war casualties influencing life, people being murdered in your ancestral lines, or people murdering others in your ancestral lines, and which has been covered up like family secret. That is influencing you now. That will be cleared and released also. On an incarnational line, past lives where you were not able to process that will be worked upon by all of these healing agencies. In your current lifetime and your event space spiral, where, for example, when I was 18, I was not able to process both the death of my stepdad and the suicide of my friend within a year. The healing agencies will work on a timeline base and an event spiral. Upon those moments, I was not able to process it, or I was not able to cry for whatever reason. So there will be a lot going on. That's why this healing It will be one of my longest, but I think it's really wise to take the time. Don't skip, because then you would not process it all fully and adequately. But even these few hours on YouTube is not enough, and that's why be aware that for the next 14 nights you will process all these death processes, clearing the death processes, so you can access your life energy better in dream state healing. And during that dream state we will access the same healing temple as we are in right now, and more processes will be completed and stuff will be dissolved. New life lessons will occur, new life information will enter your personal space, and certain past life information which is now completed due to this healing will be processed out. So, are you ready for a new phase in life? That's nice, that's why you're here, aren't you? First we are going to, you can focus on whatever tool you like. No, all will happen either how. This time we are not going to focus on a certain tool, but we are going to focus on what types of death occurred in life. For example, let's start with clearing and cleansing out past life death issues which came in with you during birth, and the first 7 years of life. So during birth, during the pregnancy and the first 7 years of life, if you had to deal with loss of a grandparent, a parent, a sibling, a neighbor, like I did. My favorite neighbor died when I was 2 years old. And it was not so much that I could not handle the death of my neighbor, but the emotions of all the people around him. The problem is when you are a kid or a baby, people tend to grab you and hold you for being comforted themselves, because they cannot handle the pain and death. So they want to be comforted, and what they do, they grab a baby or they grab a cat or a dog and they dump all of their grief into you. Well, I think it's time to release that. Let's release all the death energy of other people being dumped into us during those first 7 years of life. And if you get it cold, that means just a lot of energy is leaving. If you are yawning, that's a good sign. Stuff is leaving. And you can focus on the first 7 years. And observe all the memories you have of people dying around you during these years, and how people who felt a lot of grief about their loss, how they dumped that into you, and now you just gently return it in a neutral state to sender. You let it go. It's not yours. And several aspects of your subconscious mind become aware of it at the moment. So your baby self, your 3-year-old self, etc. become aware of all the energy you kept all these years within your personal space, thinking it was yours, but it was not yours. It was from somebody else, and allow it to flow out, and trust that your spiritual support team and the angels and all the healing agencies working at all of us at this moment know where the energy has to go. For example, when I was 2 years old, my brother was born. He was born with a lung bleeding, and my mother was told not to have her hopes up that he would survive, because no baby did ever survive that type of bleeding in the lungs in that hospital. So she prepared for death, and 10 days later he was still alive. He is still alive till now, of course, but that did create some disruption in life energy within the family, and also within the family fountain. Stuff are being balanced, are being returned to its rightful owner, karma is being completed, and if you have a relating situation, you'll feel a lot of stuff shifting within your body. Some people feel shivers, some feel their breathing tightening, and when you just let it go, you will feel your breathing opening up, you will feel you become more embodied. And perhaps you had a grandparent dying during those first 7 years. And others used you as their comforting object, dumping stuff within you. Just let it go. And when this comforting stuff being dumped upon you is being cleared and being cleansed, you can now access your own grief and allow your subconscious mind to become aware of the grief which was withheld within you, and allow it now to be processed. Tears might come up. And allow your spiritual support team, together with all the healing agencies, cleanse out and process and transform the grief within you, which is yours. Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel angry for feeling abandoned. And allow yourself to be reset in the appropriate cup within the family fountain. And allow on a soul level that all past life death pictures are being cleared by several healing agencies. Allow that the family tree, the ancestral lines, bloodline will be cleared, and allow judgment about death experiences from self or others being cleared, because perhaps you've experienced in the first 7 years of life a nearly death experience. And if there is any judgment on that, or thought forms of others or other stuff, allow it to be cleared. And you can observe the spiritual tools. And if you are not psychic, that's fine, it will occur anyhow. And you can ask your higher self to be attuned and connected to the healing occurring in the high magic temple. And allow yourself as higher self to observe all the processes individually but also collectively. And let's shift to the next phase of life, age 7 to 14. And let's do the same. Allow that energy to be cleared out of your body systems. And let's clear out any dumped upon us or false grief. About anyone dying in your environment. It even might be a friend of your grandparents whom you didn't even know, but your grandparents did not know how to deal with the grief. So they just dumped it because you have these healing aspects within you as their grandchild. And it's now time to return it in a neutral state. And be aware of the angels of forgiveness are working. And if you are older than 14 years old, allow now the self aspects which got stuck in time because of any reason or event tied to a death event. Allow that self aspect to grow up to total present time. And if you don't understand this mentally, that's no problem. You can trust that the angels of the higher laws make sure this process will be completed to its highest, fullest potential and in alignment with your highest path of destiny. And allow these hurt inner child aspects to grow up. So you as a person can grow up more holistically. And let's shift to the next phase of life, 14 to 21. 21 is the first phase of adolescence. And in my case, I had quite something to do with that in this life phase. With that, age 14 to 21, I had 4 people dying, of whom 2 within my family, with whom I lived together. And I feel now a lot of grief coming out because of my previously processed helper syndrome. I tried to help others and not thinking about me. I have to think about me also. Stuff needs to be processed. It's okay to grieve. And I request the angels of high magic to release any stuck screams. I mean, sometimes you can be so emotional, you just want to scream. But when you are surrounded by other people, you might feel it's not appropriate to do that, so you keep that scream within you and it's stuck in your throat on a metaphysical level. And now allow all these stuck screams to be cleared, which will allow you to communicate better afterwards. And perhaps during this phase of life you met people whom you have known in previous lifetimes, with whom you had a nasty death experience, either, for example, dying together in war, or you were being murdered together, or something else happened. Something to do with that. Allow the karma to be fully completed. The High Lords of Karma will take care of that. And the Angel of Forgiveness will provide mutual forgiveness. If you were the one being murdered, or if you are the one murdering. Because even if you had in that lifetime, when you murdered someone, you had a, for example, death sentence or whatever, you still need on the metaphysical level a mutual forgiveness stemming from the angels of forgiveness. It's like a receiving grace on a level you just cannot explain, but it sets you free. And while expressing this, I also noticed that within the layers of hell, aspects of people are being released, they are being unfrozen, being recovered. It's like soul retrieval is now being set in motion. And let's continue with the next phase of life while these processes continue. Of course, they overlap during all these life phases. And we now go from age 21 to age 28. And clear out all death experiences. Ooh. Sorry. I will just clear it. And let's also take into consideration all the pets, the animals you took care of, which died one day. That can also cause levels of grief. Or might have even created karma between you and the persons around the death of the pet. And let's ask for karma completion so that you don't have to engage with each other anymore in a future lifetime for this reason. And in my case, I had a boyfriend with whom I lived together, and on the hottest day of the year he went for a bicycle ride with our dog. I really loved my dog because I just had to look at him and he just exactly what I told him to, so we were really telepathic. And while he was 45 minutes on the bike, not letting the dog drink, the dog suffered from a heart attack and died on the spot, causing a certain level of karma between me and my now ex-partner. So let it be cleared. And if you had a similar experience, allow it to be cleared also. Or if it happened on a family level somewhere or in a past life, allow it to be completed. So whatever caused or whomever caused the death of a pet, your favorite animal, don't hold the grudge anymore. Let it go. Allow the karma to be completed. And allow new life and information to enter your space. And If you had any deaths within the family or neighbors or friends, allow it to be processed to the highest level possible for all concerned, for both parties, the one dying and you, for the one dying and all tied to that person. And just say goodbye. Let them go so they can continue processing their own death, so they can be prepared for a next lifetime. I see a lot of shifting occurring between people and their deceased loved ones. Because sometimes people die and we hold on to them. It's time to let go, because they have a right to live further also. They need to process that death completely and fully, so they can engage with a new lifetime. And as long as you grab onto them, you are withholding them from freed up future life path. So just allow them to be freed up. And the angel of forgiveness are providing mutual forgiveness for whatever reason you were not able to let go. And it might be that in a certain past life something traumatic happens. And that is a death memory being triggered by losing a loved one. The blue angel of death and the light being are making sure it will be completely cleared. They are clearing from out of your personal space, meaning your physical body, subtle physical body, etheric body, astral body, mental body, spiritual body, but also the energy field which is you, and some more self aspects. I will write it down here. All that energy which is yours or yours from a past life, past of this life, all that energy which is not yours will be now gently be pulled out of your personal space on the witness unit body level. And it will be processed and sent to the appropriate source. And the source might be your own soul, but it also might be the soul of someone else. Let's continue the next life phase, age 28 to 35. The age where miscarriages occur, where parents die, friends die, or you had your own near-death experience. And allow all the present healing agencies to process it all out. And let's do it just in silence for a few minutes. Tune to your inner experience or the shifting. Observe your memories. Let them go. And let's go to the next life phase, 35 to 42. And again, any rubbish having to do with death, which is stuck in your personal space, allow it to be identified, healed, completed, and cleansed out of your personal space. And your personal space is including your subtle bodies, your aura, your chakras, biological energy field, which is you, age 35 to 42. The beauty of the blue angel of death is that she can identify death energies in spaces within yourself or self aspects which has been covered up by unconscious energy, by matter. Even if it's covered up, she can identify it and clear it out of your space. So you do not have to longer hold on to these death energies. And this helps you and assists you to embody yourself more. Age 42 to 49. And it might be that you carry that energy from someone else with you all this time. Like for example, I carried that energy of my friend who died when I was 18, and they are now clearing out his residues of energies and other forms of energies, like thought forms, pictures. And the high lot of karma is making sure that the karma from shared past lives, previous lifetimes, are being completed. And it's beautiful to observe how all these healing agencies are working together on the several planes. And for those who are older, age 49 to 56. 56 to 63. I see for a few viewers it seems like either a circle of friends or a family that not only on a family or friend circle the dead energy is being cleared out, but even on a more local level. So the area they lived in had to deal with a lot of death, but also the whole country. So it are the appropriate healing agencies who have the authority to do this, who clear out the dead energy for the entire country. Age 63 to 70. It's interesting, this is also a phase of life that you as a grandparent, for example, you can suffer not only for those who are within your age range who die, but also suffer from grandchildren dying. There's so much covered up grief for this age group that the angels will make sure there is special attention for those within these age groups of grandparents to clear out unprocessed grief about grandchildren. And of course this shifts stuff also in the family fountain and in the family tree. Pardon. When grandchildren die, grandparents tend to focus on their children more than on their own well-being. So it's now time for their own well-being to process and grieve and transform and let go of the deceased grandchildren so they can move on and start a new life path with different parents. They came in for a life experience, and let's allow them to have this to the highest level of karma completion. And from age 70 to 77, same story. different stories to tell. And as you can imagine, there are less viewers within this age range, but there still are a few viewers. I know, for example, my mother is watching my videos. She is 75. But I notice she's not the only one. And I notice there are a few viewers clear of mind who allow future timeline healing to occur. So even when they are, for example, 32 years old, they allow their future 70-year-old to receive healing also. Yeah, it's nice to have those type of viewers also. And let's shift to age 77 to no idea. I cannot count. I think 84. I noticed that group-wise a lot of past death experiences, being as dying as a senior person, which went a little bit traumatic, are now being processed on the incarnational string. It's like an extra gift for all these healing agencies to do that. Age 84 to 91. Age 91 to 98. And the present healing agencies ask me to do one more life phase. And considering we are working on the family tree, and there are few among us who have in the ancestral line ancestors who grew older than 98. So let's shift for the last phase of life, 98 to 105. And request the angels of high magic to provide during dream state healing extra attention to life phase where we faced a lot of death experiences, a lot of events with death, and we are not yet finished. They surprised me. Yes, that's possible. But first, how do you feel at the moment? I must say, I have a sense that I look different out of my eyes. It's a little bit... everything is more clear and sharp. So that's pleasant. What we are going to do right now is, I think it's pretty important. And why do I put it in? Because I believe as a holistic healer that clearing the next thing is really important. Because our senses, like the sense of sight, sense of hearing, And our subconscious selves cannot always differentiate truth of media. Meaning, all the healing agencies are now going to clear out first the hypnosis of all the movies, television series, all the events the media showed us concerned to death. And that might even be like pictures, memories which are not yours or which are not real, which you hold within your personal space, coming via television, your telephone or whatever, tied to death. Like for example, when you watched a television series where people got shot, you as a grown-up might realize it's not real, but who says your subconscious mind believes that? So now let's clear out all the death memories coming via media, clogging up our subconscious minds, our subconscious selves. And while cleansing that out, you might feel that your subconscious selves are realizing at the moment that there's much less death in this world as we are made to believe. I see, I'm a fan of Marvel movies. I see a lot of stuff leaving from there. All those pictures being cleared out. It's not real. I see television series, pictures, memories being cleansed out. It's not real. And I also feel like from within me, a relief coming up that there is really much less death in this world as we are made to believe. I mean, I know that watching dramatic movies or action movies or whatever, or playing a game, there's always a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting, murdering. It's like insane. It's made to believe that's normal, but it's not. So allow this to clear out, and they will spend 3 nights of dream state healing clearing this out, and the healing agencies will determine when to work on who. So that's out of my hands. I'm not the one determining that. And that's interesting. I don't talk about food too much, even if I love food. I have all the books of Anthony William, the medical medium. I really like his books. Food is extremely important. Why are we talking about food at the moment? Let's talk about meat. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about the death energy of the meat you eat entering your body. The food on vibrational level might be of the slaughterhouse. It might be of the anger a butcher had, or it might be of the truck driver who drove the pigs, the veal, chickens and whatever we eat to the slaughterhouse. Because he was angry for what kind of reason, he lashed out on the animals on an energetic level, and you also absorb those vibrations in. It might be that you've eaten some food, some meat from a farm where the farmers are not like these farmers on this farm, but they are farming in a way without contact, real contact with animals, and just with aggression and with whatever. And on a vibrational level, it's in the meat. You consume that, and on a vibrational level, you have that within you. And that's what they are going to do right now. They are going to cleanse through space and time, meaning from the moment you were born and started to eat meat till 3 months in the future, they will cleanse out all that rubbish on an energetical level, all the vibrations you consumed by eating meat. And they are going to cleanse that on a cellular level, on a organ level, so the liver will be pleased if this is being cleansed. The spleen will be relieved if this is being cleansed. The kidneys. The nervous system is being released of a lot of vibrational rubbish. Your circulatory system. Circulatory. Oh my god, I wish I had English as a native tongue, but I don't have that. I think cleansing this on a vibrational level also helps to be more gentle to yourself. And cleanse out this type of death energy. And let's cleanse out any other pictures of dead animals. Perhaps you were driving a car and passing a roadkill, and have these pictures, these memories be cleansed. And on a spiritual level, global level, this is also a step for preparation for evolving as humankind. A lot of past life death pictures are being cleared, are being transmuted. So the more viewers watching this video, the more the whole world will be transformed. And like in the old days, there always came just one healer at a time as a messenger. We are now in a time that we are with thousands of healers, bringing the message of healing, the message of awareness. And I think it's now slowly time to finish up. I'm going to request the angels of high magic, the one overseeing the whole healing for all healing agencies, to provide us to be connected not only with divine providence but also to the Akashic records, and request for a past life aura update, current lifetime information update. So life lessons we did not process adequate, we've just now processed, or within the coming 2 weeks will be cleansed out of our system. New information will enter, so we are ready to interact with our new life lessons to come. New events to experience. And the angels of high magic will make sure that your process will be completed to the highest level possible for you, in alignment with your higher path of destiny, your personal process. You will receive consent envelope. The law of unity will be invoked, so the moment you click away this video, you're no longer part of this group healing. Your past life information will be updated. Your current lifetime information will be updated and upgraded. For those who are ready, will receive a step up within their spiritual support team, meaning those who are no longer able and capable of serving you will say goodbye to you. And for that, new ones who are aligned and attuned to your current process in front of you, they will enter your spiritual support group. And yeah, don't forget to experience joy and think with joy to those who are left behind, like those who have died. Like, for example, you've been watching this for years. I've bought this little angel, I think, less than a year ago. And for me, this represents all of my miscarriages, my deceased daughters, and who took in their rightful place within the family fountain. Perhaps you have for yourself also symbolic like that. I have it in a place where I see it on a daily basis, but it's not in a living room, it's not in the television room, not in the bedroom, it's just in a pass-through room. I like it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been quite an intense process around death, around letting go. Around letting go so we create space for new stuff to occur. So the final thing to do is say thank you. Thank you for trusting me and all those healing agencies being present. If you have positive effects in the coming weeks, please let me know down in the comments, or if you know me private, you can send it per WhatsApp. I always enjoy the WhatsApps I receive about videos. And is my favorite word, have you known? Yeah. Well, I wish you I don't know if you say it, happy Halloween? I don't know. Or fröhliche Allerheiligen? I don't think so. Well, oh, have you known, by the way, that these times are really also connected to a mid-equinox? So, yeah, small detail, something fun. I hope you are attuned to the current time, and I hope you have a splendid week. Hope to see you next time. Next time I will be uploading the video clearing pain, shock and trauma on the sense of balance. That will be a good one. Yeah, I look forward to it. You too? Well, thanks for watching. Bye bye. I want to show you something. For those who stuck around, who are still here, I'm going to show you something. I always like to share the view on how we live. I mean, can you imagine, you walk out your office and what do you see? I have to get a little bit closer. Isn't that nice? Those peaceful Swiss cows.